got two hives here. This hive here seems to be doing really well, really strong. This hive was a swarm back in the early July time frame, and they built up quite well. Now this hive right here was a kind of a September swarm, kind of strange. It's really just has bees in the first box. This top box, I think I have like 3 frames in it, just to kind of keep it going. It's the 9th of November right now. I'm wanting to take this hive and set it on top of this hive for the warmth to make it through the winter. We'll see how that goes, and I've got 3 different hives we're going to experiment with. I've got 2 different kinds of separating devices between the 2 hives, and then I've got a 3rd hive that's about the same strength. We're just going to let that one see how it does, you know, kind of like a control test. We'll see how it comes out in March, April time frame. Different separation devices. One is just a simple screen. It's a spacer, and I've just got regular screen door. It's a metal mesh screen door on both sides to give it so the warmth can rise up through here, but give some separation between the 2 hives. What I will do is set this on top of the bottom hive, and then I'll set this spacer here, which has an entrance there, so that they can use that as their entrance. I will face these in opposite directions. Right now the entrance to this hive is facing the southwest, and I will have the hive I'm going to set on top, I'll have it facing the northeast. The second separator that I have is just a regular inner cover that has the hole in it. There's no gap on this side, and there's like a 3/8 inch gap here on this side here. I will set this on top of the stronger hive. I'll set the weaker hive on top here, and then it also has an entrance here, about a 3/8 by 1 inch entrance there for the entrance for the bees. There's a screen on both sides of this and here for the protection of both hives. Now this is my 2 gallon top feeder. Has 1-to-1 sugar in it. Quite a bit of bees hanging on there. There's still some sugar, mostly sugar, but some protein in that, along with some apple cider vinegar. So let's see if I can just smoke these. Smoke these off like that. Replenish their food, but I'll still need to open that up in about 3 weeks. Sometime around Thanksgiving I'll open that up and check and see how they're doing. There's this one, and then this will become the bottom board for the weaker hive. And it probably has, we'll look at it, but it probably has maybe 6 or 8 frames of bees, of good solid bees in there. Let's begin to disassemble this one. I also have a 2-gallon bucket of 1-to-1 sugar here. And this one is still pretty heavy. looks like it's probably 3/4 full. I'm going to leave it upside down so that I don't break the vacuum. I don't want to break the vacuum in that feeder bucket because I'm going to put them back on there. We'll take a look inside here and you'll see. I think there's just 3 frames in this top box here. There's a little bit of activity here, but if we take a look, there's just nothing is in there. Just barely some bees on those frames. I'm debating whether to leave these 3 frames here or not. And probably the smartest thing would be not to. There's just, take a look at this one here. I do feel a little bit of weight to this one, but oh yeah, I can see some sugar water built up just a little bit there. Now this one, see, they do have some food stored up here. I really hate to get rid of that for them. So I may leave this back together like this, put this second box on top. I may put, well, I'll just leave it like that for the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this box here that has the 3 frames, just temporarily set it here on top of this box just to keep it off the ground, and then we'll move this main box on top of there. I sure hope they survive because they seem very docile at this point. I do have a slatted rack here. I don't know if I'm going to include that with everything or not. And because it's like 50 degrees right now, I do not want to pull these frames up to break the cluster. Small hive beetle. Set this here like that. So I've added a little more sugar patty here. You know, it's always a guess to me how much to put on here on a weaker hive. You don't want to put so much that the small hive beetles take over, but you do want to put on enough so that they don't starve. I'm going to set this on here, just the 3 frames that they seem to have put some honey in. I'm going to put the 2-gallon top feeder on here. It's got 1-to-1 syrup. Even though there's still a few more days of temperatures in the 60s and 70s, they may still feed from this 1-to-1. But if I check it in a week or two and it's still still on there, they've quit taking it, then I'll just remove that off of it. But that's how we're going to test it, this particular hive. We'll set up the other hive later. Alright, we're about 24 hours later. They are reorienting and they have found their entrance right there. So you can see they're doing pretty good. You can see the orientation fight going on. So let's hope that they're able to gain some heat from this to heat the upper section, and then we'll keep an eye on it. But February-March time frame will be the answer. Alright, it's starting to get later in the evening. The temperature is still probably around 50 degrees. It's supposed to drop down into the 30s tonight, so I want to go ahead and set this box, which was this was a new queen. I have to check my notes. This was a new queen that emerged the middle to the late of August, and didn't really have time to build up. There are two frames, or two boxes, but the second box is mostly just empty drawn comb. So I'm going to leave both boxes with it, but it's mostly just empty drawn comb. We're going to set that box on top of that far hive right there. This is the bottom separator that I'm going to use between this hive and the hive on the far end to the left. You can see in here that, if you look closely, there's really not a lot of bees in this top box. There is some bees in there when you pull the frames out, but I'm not going to pull them out. There's a little bit of food, sugar patty that I left in there not even a week ago yet. This hive is a relatively strong hive. Let me show you in here. That's the fourth. This is the fourth box on a fourth medium box on this hive here. So I'm simply really going to replace this inner cover here with this one here, because I've already got the screen on both sides of it. Hate disrupting them that much, but that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to set the entrance. I'm going to set the entrance opposite the entrance of this hive. So again, this hive so the entrance to the bottom hive is facing the southwest, and so the entrance to the weaker hive is going to be facing the northeast. So you can see that this hive, we've probably got, what's that, like 5 or 6 frames of bees clustered there. Although you can see bees on out, but this right here is where the majority of them are. So we'll pop this off of its solid bottom board, and I don't know that they need any of this smoke or this tranquility juice, but just pop it on there now. This bucket here has, I'm guessing, probably a little less than a gallon of syrup in there. So I'll just put a cover box on here to protect it from the weather. Put the lid on it and we're done. 24 hours later, you can see they have reoriented and they found this new entrance. Last night it got down into the 30s. Right now today it's probably about 60.